Princess. Let's take a look-see. What have we down here? We have this thing, which I know has taken root. In fact, we can start noticing that it's twisting to join the light. Let's, just ever so delicately. Oh, wow. Yes. So much interest. So much interest. And then we can also see that over here, this one has a root growing outside of the pot, even straight through the crack and attached to the pot, looking like a disgusting little worm. And that means that this one, too, will have taken root. Let's pick it up and find out. Yeah. That is extraordinarily well rooted. Oh, yeah, yeah. Now, all of these, I do believe, too. Yeah. Tugging the pot by the plant, by the thing, that means it has roots. Oh, just a new couple of cuttings added to the mix. Not everything that resists being... this one hasn't grown roots yet. That one has. Oh! Now, as we can see, it's this one, which I picked up all the way, and it legit has roots growing on it. Let's look. There we are. There we are. Roots. Now I have to set this down again so that I can place it back under the soil. Well, not even soil here. I'm just using moss. Because, experiment. I need experiments. Of all the experiments, this one here is gardenia, 3 cuttings. This one here is a piece of grandma's fuchsia. This one here, I don't see what's in there. And then this one here is a, what's it called? Ogre's ear? Yes, maybe that's what it's called, jade. Bear's paw still is doing absolutely nothing, but it's not rotting either. That's good. And then this one has sent out its roots. Let's try and get it to where I can... there we are. You can see that this ogre ear has sent out roots as well. That happened just today from the looks of it. There we are. Back in there like a little alien baby. Oof. Yeah, I didn't realize that tiny hibiscus cutting has taken root. I think that one's orange. I don't mean to shoot videos so often, but things grow at such a rate that if I don't take note, I'll lose all of my memory associated with it. I'm on the ground. Okay. This one, I do believe that this one is orange. I think this is the one from which I took a cutting. It's finally leafing out. All of its dormant buds have finally received the signal to do it. Finally. And then as for this pink one here, I went ahead and trimmed part of it away so that I can try to root another one. And I'm gonna aim, I think, for the dormant bud resting right in this location to become the main leader, and then I'll take the top off at that point and shave around on these portions to try and make it somewhat straighter, so that I can get its shape something more like I want for the bottom of the trunk. Let's see here. Here we have gardenia, from which I took cuttings. This one, I went ahead and just stuffed them all together in the same container because they're so tangled that to untangle them would damage them beyond what I think they could recover from. Oof. So instead, I'll see about getting them to fuse, maybe even wiring them together, but I think I'll avoid that if possible. There we are. Blackberry. Finally got tall enough to where I trimmed the tip, and seems to already be wanting to send out secondary shoots. Now this one I believe is pink, along with that one. These two I believe are yellow. In fact, yeah, it would seem that we might have a flower on that in a few days. We'll have another bloom on this one tomorrow. Let's see here, what else have we got? For some reason the ants have taken up residence on top of this. I can see them nesting inside of the little furls. Those are ants nesting in the furls. I think that they're actually hiding their babies there. Definitely not any aphids, though. I don't see aphids. All I see is ants. Tons and tons of black ants everywhere. That's fine, I guess. And then this. Let's take a look into this. There was a case of chlorosis. The leaves failing to turn green. But as you can see from the veins here, that seems to be correcting. A few of the leaves are only yellow because they're old and dying. But some of the ones, like this one here, so new, I can see at the very base of it that it's starting to correct and become green. Oh, and then on this one, it seems to have been solved completely. On the newest green shoots, I see only the darkest green. So it means that it's finally being corrected in areas. Oof. And then this will be blooming again soon. I went ahead and sorted away a little bit of the pebbles near the base. That way I could get a good look at it and see, you know, for one, is it stable? And yes, it is, but I probably shouldn't wiggle on it. And then my American elm, you can see how small some of the leaves are compared to my finger. They are just ever so micro, which is very, very nice and attractive. And then in here, I see a lot of ants. I see a lot of ants in here. I just got done pulling it up yesterday and repotting it and checking it, and it went from having 2 roots to more like 16 roots, but they're all I don't know, only a 3/16 of an inch long. I guess that comes to about maybe a centimeter. So I cleaned away the goopy ball that I found near the base of it. Oh, something's biting me. Stop that. And then went ahead and repotted it, putting the goopy ball up on top. That way it might have a chance at drying out. That way, in case the problem is that it simply isn't getting enough oxygen, and that'll be corrected by going and, doing that. But if the problem's not enough nitrogen, then I'll know in about a week, because it won't have corrected itself like this has. only 1 week, and I see visible difference, visible change on everything. Ah, here we are. My grandmother gave this to me. It's a piece of her precious beefsteak begonia. Here we've got the rhizome, green, nice green rhizome. It's all the way down in there. It's just laying in here like a ginormous question mark, with a green growing tip on it. Each segment should send forth a growing tip like this one. It's not even growing in dirt. It's just sphagnum moss laid on a bed of perlite. You know, the most basic of the basic. Oh, plus the charcoal. Never forget that. That way it can suck up nutrients for later release, which is actually working well. Some of the spots where I've been doing things, I've been finding the results I'm looking for, and other places, like here, I can see a split from it taking in too much water. Some of them have rotted. I had to flip them all upside down, which means that I have to change this experiment to save the specimens. However, this one, pear tree. I don't even know if it'll be an eating pear, but it's a pear, nonetheless. Here we are, even more growth. Wonderful, beautiful. Look at all that. I just want to pick it up right now out of there and transplant it, but I'll do that in a month. Yes, and this is the gardenia which I was able to separate. Some of those roots are not its own, just a random root from pruning, but I gave it a hard prune. Really hard prune. It'll survive. I accidentally sheared a lot of leaves in too. That doesn't matter. It'll survive. That's all that matters. Beautiful gardenia. I managed to straighten all of its roots out, so once it heals, I can repot it again. Then I can aim for a nice radial root system on it instead of a crappy root system that'll only lead to it having a maximum lifespan. Then before I cut it off, I suppose, bit of degradation. This got rained on, almost washed away parts of it. I considered redoing the entire planting, but then I decided, leave it. Nothing is perfect. Nothing's forever. It'll change eventually when I have time to change it, and when I need to do the repotting. Till now, I don't have to, which would be just as simple as trying to get some of the sand out of there, maybe some of the grass. Yeah, this one. My brother stopped by the other day and had a look. He was like, oh wow, what's this one? Looks interesting. Is it what I think it is? I was like, yep, it absolutely is. Exactly what you think it is. Blood God maple. He laughed. I thought it was marijuana.